there are 3 types of limitations in this world. First, there are the ones that we're born with. Then, there are the ones that society places on us. And last, but certainly not least, are the ones that we place on ourselves. 41 years ago, I was born with an amazing gift. Now, this is something I didn't know how to utilize until later on in my life. I was born with congenital rubella syndrome. Now, my mother had went to a birthday party and came home with German measles. That is the gift that I'm talking about today. Fortunately, I've learned how to utilize what I was given, and I'm a commercial photographer nowadays. Bruce Lee once said, "There are no limits. There are only plateaus, and you must not stay there. You must go beyond." And that's truly something that I live by every day of my life. Now, I spent almost the first year of my life blind. And just as any other visually impaired or blind child, I learned the world through other ways. Through my mother's gentle touch, through the sounds of music, through perfumes and smelling flowers, and even the simple taste of cheese. Almost a year later, I had some operations, but being back in 1973, they weren't too successful back then. I had some partial vision restored, but not knowing what normal sight was, I didn't know that I wasn't like the rest of my peers. Now, growing up, I always had my family there to motivate me, and they were always there to help me with my self-esteem and help it grow. Now, that's one thing I really believe in, is that everyone needs to check out their self-esteem once in a while, and we all can get it up here, even if there are days when you feel you don't have any and it's down low. One of my favorite memories was in kindergarten class, and it was art time. I remember it was a beautiful, warm, June sunny day. The sun was coming in through the window. It was hitting me on the side of the face. And it was art class. We were asked to make something out of clay. And I thought at that time, what am I going to make? Well, I wanted to make a television set. So I was molding my clay, and I had asked the teacher for 2 toothpicks. Now, I might be dating myself here, but I used those for the antenna on the top of the television set. Now, as I wrapped up my clay creation at the end of the day to bring it home, I put it ever so carefully in the box. I had this big grin on my face to bring it home in anticipation that one day this piece would be sitting in the world's greatest museum behind 5-inch thick glass, complete with a tripwire and an alarm. Or so I thought. But that was the type of parents that I had. They always motivated me, and my eyesight was never an issue. So my dad pulled it out of the box, ever so carefully. He looked at it, and he said, "Tara, it's beautiful." "What is it?" I thought, how could he not know what it is? "It's a TV, Dad." And he looked at me and he says, "I knew that. I was asking you if it was a Sony or an RCA." They were always there for me positively, no matter what it looked like. My dad, being an artist himself, he had always taught me how to recreate anything through my moods, through art. He gave me a life talent that I still use today through photography. He showed me how to recreate three-dimensional shapes without not being able to see them. As I progressed from my circles, my squares, my triangles, it was an amazing feeling that I could do something by myself. He never discouraged me at all. Now, when I learned how to shade, I almost in a way reinvented myself because I started learning angles. Now, the angles that I learned back then helped me to proactively set up my equipment. Whether it's my tripods or when I'm out there doing my food photography, I know the angles on where the light's hitting the mirror to bounce back to the food to create what I think is that perfect lit plate. Now, unfortunately, what ends up happening, and it happened to me when I got a little bit older in elementary school, this is when I learned that I was different from the rest of my peers. I willingly allowed people to kick, punch, and emotionally abuse me. Now, being visually impaired, I didn't know that this wasn't normal. I didn't talk to anybody about it. Now, when I got a little bit older and into junior high school, I remember it as a big storm. Now, the sky was growing darker, and it was getting greener, and there was legions of lightning that were all around me at that time. Off in the distance, there were acres of rain. But the rain would not come. In fact, I had no more tears left to cry. I knew for myself I had to do something. No one was going to take the bully away from me. I had to elevate myself. I could not survive another storm. So what did that mean? I had to find a solution. Now, the feeling that I had ever since I was in kindergarten was as if it was a piece of gum. When it's stuck to the bottom of your shoe as you're walking, it slowly falls off piece by piece, a little bit at a time until there's nothing left. And that's how I was feeling. All I wanted was 5 minutes of fun on the playground, just like any other child had. It's the kind of fun that you see children on TV having. But then I thought about it. Television isn't reality. Even the reality shows nowadays are scripted. After all, being blind for the first year of my life, I might have tapped into my hearing a little bit more than other children. So what I did is I used my hearing ability. Before the bully could sneak up to me, I would hear his squeaky shoes. And it was so loud and irritating. Before he could come up behind me and spit or kick me, I was gone. Whether it was around the corner or through the school door. And it felt fantastic. It was as if something had been lifted and I could enjoy my childhood. Now, as we get a little bit older, we all feel that you shouldn't be bullied. That's something that I had told my kids, that when you're getting older, you move on to the workforce, you have the opportunity to get away from being bullied. Yes, you can get away from it, but they're still there. Now, when I won a photography contest a few years ago, a fellow photographer had said to me, "Tara, enjoy your 10 minutes of fame, because after that, everyone will forget who you are, and you'll need to go back to reality. And I thought, seriously, reality? What is reality? I'm a commercial photographer, and I do public speaking. People will see me. Now, with my image, yes, it was award-winning, but I can take more than one award-winning image. And to me, my image wasn't luck. After all, luck to me would be a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, right? I choose to be a commercial photographer. I'm trained. I use my passion for photography to fuel me. After all, I don't sit on the couch at the end of the day and expect the sunset to come to me. Now, when I'm out photographing birds and wildlife, I hear them before I see them. Now, I study their patterns, and I know that they'll be flying around in a circle, and then just as they come around again, my ears will pick that up. I'll be able to hear their wings flapping, and then all of a sudden, I shoot it, with the camera, of course. And as I do that, I know I have success, because I have self-esteem now, and I'm not scared to crawl around on the ground anymore and expect to see people saying to me, "What is she doing?" I have the big equipment, right? So I should be able to capture anything. That is usually what a lot of people say to me. You have the big cameras, you must be able to capture magnificent images. I taught my camera everything it knows. I want to tell people it's not the camera, it's me. I wait in anticipation of the perfect sunset as the sun kisses the mountaintops. Even when I'm out doing photography of the northern lights, I can't magically open up my roof and expect to see them. I have to go to where they are. Now, on the back of my camera, that's something that I can't see, and it doesn't bother me whatsoever. I'm not like the other photographers sometimes that you'll see, even my husband is guilty for this, looking at the back of his camera thinking, did I get that shot? With me, I know that I've got that shot because it's just something that I've trained myself to do. And if I don't get it, it's okay. I'm like the rest of the photographers that don't capture that shot. Now, how many of you out there remember when we used to drop off our film and get it processed? Now, I don't know if any of you read my bio, but I won't be able to see you anyways. I'm legally blind. But when I used to drop off my film and I get it back a week later, it's almost the same feeling as I have now, but nowadays, I see those images in my head, and I can go through my images and think, well, where is that? I know I saw it in my head. It should be on my computer somewhere. It drives me nuts. So I'll take my image home from my digital camera, I'll enlarge it to 200 or 300%, and I can see it successfully. The only advantage that I feel that I might have over other photographers is I can see ultraviolet light. Now, the images that I'm shooting look nothing like how I saw them that day on a bright, sunny day. I'll get them home and look at them on my monitor, and they'll be just like mush. I wanted the images to be the same. And again, not knowing that I didn't have normal eyesight, it was something that I had to learn that I'm the only one that sees it in my group of photographers, and it's something that has helped me amazingly. This is my award-winning image. Now, this is what I see. I have 6% vision in my left eye and nothing in my right eye. And on the days when I have my corneal edema, I don't see anything. And that's okay. Those are the days that I'm having my Pepsi and my chocolate to get me through the pain. The images that I capture, I see in my head. Because what I wanted to do is leave all of you with an important message. The limitations that I have in my life, I've learned to overcome them. What I encourage all of you to do is go home and think about your limitations and think about a passion in life that you have. When you find that passion, you can overcome your limitations. Because to me, passion crushes limitations. Thank you.